morning. It's 5:43. Headed to the job site right now. I'm probably going to be about 3 minutes late. One of the things that I've started doing is writing what I call intentionally, in the sense that when I'm writing my list down, I say, I am going to do, I am going to be there, I am going to get this, I am going to get the commode working. And what I find is there's almost like a pull to make that come to fruition, whatever it is that I wrote down. And it's had tremendous results for me so far in the last 2 weeks. And one of the things that I'm doing is trying to streamline my processes, make them better, and be more effective in what it is that I'm doing each day. We're on a project, and the deadline is basically September 1st for this person to be able to move in, and I am trying real hard to make that happen. I say that, and then Wednesday I'm going to take off, go see my mom. She lives in North Carolina for 5 days, and but it'll probably be, once I get back, working every day, at least, a minimum of 5 hours on the house for us to be able to get it done. So, it is what it takes. And after this, we'll probably take about a month or two and do stuff on the properties that doesn't cost a lot of money, in the sense we'll do maintenance stuff, a lot of painting, but we're not going to be doing any major rehabs or anything like that. Stack some cash, and because it's very financially intensive right now. It's like every time you go to Home Depot, it's a $500 visit. Well, you figure that out, and you do that 5-6 times a week, you're blowing through $15,000 a month in just much. That's not labor. And so, and then once you're all done and you got a huge cash outlay, well, it takes time to get that money built back up, so to speak. It's not like you're going to make all $15,000 or $20,000 back in 1 month after the house is done. It's going to be a slow grind. So we're going to be pulling up here shortly, and I'll keep you updated throughout the day. That is always a good sign when your employee's there before you are. We got this set, plumbing brand. It's flushing just fine. Now we're gonna lay out that shower pan. The problem is this is all jacked up as far as it's not level, it's bad. So what we're gonna end up having to do is we'll put the bottom plate, because this is gonna be a wall right here. There'll be a wall right here. Barn door going in here. This is an opening where a stacker unit, top and bottom, washer dryer are gonna go. So what we'll end up doing is I'll put the bottom plate down here, and then make a dam, and we'll start pouring a little bit of floor leveler in there, and keep on doing it, so to speak. And you'll just have to be real slow and methodical about it, in the sense that this is not going to be a fast process at all. So here we go. This right here is a 1997 Mazda. It's got 191,000 miles on it. It has seen its better days. It has never left branded. This is a fantastic vehicle. For what I could sell it for, I can't replace it. And this is the vehicle that everybody borrows when their car gets stolen, is in the shop for extended times, or anything of that nature. And so this one is a good backup vehicle to have. And I actually started my construction business out of this. And then I put a job box in the back of it. Business grew. And then I bought that trailer right there off Facebook for $150 and started carrying tools and stuff like that. Don't let anybody tell you you need to get a fancy truck, big trailer, and everything to get started. You don't. You can actually do it on a shoestring budget. And, you just don't let anybody else outwork you, and you keep on hustling and you make things happen. So we're headed to Home Depot right now to see about getting some heavy-duty charges for the Ramset gun. That's some awful hard concrete, been there for a while. She's a good little turd, ain't no doubt. No telling how much money this has made me. Well, we got the commode done, got it hooked up, flushed it. Have not taken a big old dump in it yet. And that's kind of your good telltale sign to see if it, how it all flows and everything like that. But looking through the clean out, the water passes, it doesn't stay. So that's a good thing for sure. Ran toilet paper down about 3 or 4 times. It all passed just fantastic. So on that, we're getting this list knocked out. One of the things that I need to do myself is be more organized. I've, in some regard, held it in an egotistical manner that I have always been the pusher, the guy that gets things done. You know, call me. But don't call me to clean out a China store. There's going to be some collateral damage. You know, I'm going to break some stuff because I'm going to make some stuff happen. Well, I'm trying to not be like that guy so much anymore, okay? And like last night or this weekend, I walked through the house, listed everything that needs to get done, and went back through, gave it all a hourly value as far as the labor it would take us, and then we're coming up with a method trying to adhere to the schedule and make this thing happen as best as possible. Well, it's working out pretty good so far, and I'm happy with the results. You know, and one of the things guy talked about this morning was having to do with trust. And the analogy that he made is trust is like a bank account, and that bank account grows when you put deposits in there. Well, trust is not something that you can deposit $100,000 at one time. Usually it's about $1 to $5 every time. And the thing about it is that, you know, every time you show up on time, every occurrence that you do something that you said you would, every time that you follow through, you know, you're making another deposit. Well, guess what? The bad part about that is that every time that there's a withdrawal that happens, you're not losing the deposit. You're usually losing about 5 deposits at one time. And that makes it a lot more to continue to build trust. And one of those things is that very thankful, and it's great that, you know, Carla's got an impeccable work ethic. However, it's a different story when, you know, I'm showing up or I'm there when she shows up as well. And, you know, it just psychologically does something for the job site and the way that things move, so to speak. And, you know, it's one of those things where if that person is not the project manager, the superintendent, the supervisor or anything, and they are showing up without, you know, some form of leadership to greet them or get them lined out, tell them which way to proceed, so to speak, and everything, very few people are actually able to deal with that. And she does a great job. You know, I got a lot of other stuff that goes on during the week that I have to take care of. However, what I have doing is said this, you know, I show up at the job, I try to beat her there in the morning. I was there at 5:48, told her 6, she was already there. And I, you know, I walk in, set the alarm on my phone for 3 hours later and set it down, and I don't touch it. And I work straight till those 3 hours, and I check text messages and return calls if there's been any. And it's been working out real well. You know, productivity's up. I seem to be happier. I know it's crazy, but I am the happiest when I am on my tools and doing work. Don't get me wrong. I love, you know, finding a house for $15,000. Negotiating that deal, seeing it come to fruition. I love doing that kind of stuff. I love hunting. I love finding. I love negotiating. We are at a point where it would not be cost effective for me to hire somebody else, and with the amount of work and materials that I have to buy in the next year and a half, it's going to be very cost intensive. And matter of fact, once we get done with this job, we might take a month or two off of doing any type of rehabs, because I got a house that I bought it for $14,000. Gonna have to put a roof on it. That's probably gonna be about $5 or $6 grand, and then I'm gonna have to get a rewire done. I figure I'm gonna be all in on that house for about $50,000-$60,000, and I'll be able to rent it, and it should rent for about $1,300 a month. Well, you do the math on that. That's a slow grind. That's about a 5-year return. Now, that's better than the stock market. However, that property's probably going to be worth about $130,000, maybe $140,000. So there'll be, the equity there. The equity is there, and if I wanted to go in and say, hey, let me, borrow against it, I do that and get a bunch of my money back out of it. But I sure like things that are paid for. And it's really, really nice that when, that rent check comes in, that $1,300, guess what? It gets to stay. Other than property taxes and insurance, the rest of it just stays. And so, that makes a huge, huge difference. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Oh, so, it is about the cash flow. All right, so here it is. It's about 4:15 in the morning. I have not had my coffee yet, but I wanted to go ahead and get this done so I could get it uploaded. I made a commitment. There's at least 2 videos per week, so I got to make sure that happens. I appreciate all y'all that watch the channel and everything. So you glimpse of part of my day yesterday as far as everything that happens and everything. That day ended at, well, let's see. I was leaving Home Depot at 8:30 last night. I did come home, got a shower, and a bite to eat. And those are truly things that I choose to do, And the thing that I'm trying to do now is we will only succeed as far as our processes will allow us. And the thing about that is that if we don't get better at doing those things, if I don't get better at doing those things and having a better process per se, then I will end up having issues. And there'll be a lot that gets lost, that doesn't get done, something to that effect. And so the thing about it is that it's very necessary it's almost like, as time goes on, and I'll give you an example. We used to collect rent in person, and drove me crazy. And then I started paying Carla extra to do it in her off hours at the beginning of the month. Well, that rocked along, and then the portfolio got to the point where the size of it, and people that lived, like I own 3 houses on one street, and none of those people would be there at the same time on the same day or anything of that nature. And it was just absolutely brutal. Then the problem became is that there's a lot of times, she's one with, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. And, that'll make somebody start thinking about doing some things they shouldn't be doing. And so, and I'm not saying about her, but I'm saying about her getting, robbed. And, that would have been very devastating for the company for that to happen. And so what we ended up doing is just having people go to the bank and make the deposit. And it's amazing that some of the changes that a person can make in the way that they do business. And guess what? I got more of my time back. I got more freedom back because of doing that. And I wasn't so much as worried about what was, who was paying or anything. I just, at the end, on the 4th day is when I go back and look, see who's made deposits and who hasn't. And then, figure out if I have to serve any evictions or anything of that nature. So it's worked out quite well. And that was one of those things that we changed the way that we did business. We changed our process, and we got more freedom back. And it made Carla's life a whole lot easier as well. So, there's a lot of things out there, and I do a lot of reading, and writing in my journal and inventorying and asking myself, what is it that I can do better? And I talk with other landlords. Yesterday, I talked with a guy that's got, 300 units and, asked him as far as, what is it that, I didn't get in depth with him on his personal business as far as how does he collect rent and stuff like that, but always networking with others that are in a position that you want to be in. It's great to give back, and I like taking time and if you send me a email with your phone number and the email's in the description, I'll give you free 15 minutes, and talk with you, answer any questions you got or anything of that nature. I think it's very important to give back. However, it gets to a point where people will try to suck you dry, and they might not even do it and know that they are, but they will. And, and that's where I've learned that, hey, I have to charge for my time. And some people think it's atrocious, and the majority of people go away. It's a funny thing. They want to hear what you have to say, but they don't want to pay for it. So obviously they didn't think it was that valuable to read. So hope you have a fantastic day. This is just a glimpse. And yesterday after I got home from work, I did take both the motorcycles out for a spin. That felt really good. So have yourself a wonderful day. Here you have it. She's dirty. Got a blemish right there. Tires in great shape. You got the compression releases right there. We do that. We're gonna pull that choke out. Bags are in great shape. They're just dirty. As expected, there's a little bit on the back pipe right there. We'll go ahead and put our key in. And crank the ignition on. And then here you go.